The woman was actually about to use freshly boiled water to bathe her 5-day-old newborn. She undressed the baby, picked up a towel soaked in scalding hot water, and was just about to wipe the baby's body. At that moment, the midwife arrived. The instant she saw the scene, she was completely shocked.
Saint, whatever are you doing?
Well, I have to clean her. I have to sterilize everything. Can't trust the tap. They put dangers in it. Safer with the river.
The nun immediately realized that something was terribly wrong. How could a normal mother possibly think of doing such a thing? She quickly took away the hot water and went to fetch the doctor. Meanwhile, another midwife stayed in the room to look after Pamela and the baby, but no one noticed that Pamela's expression was becoming darker and darker. She suddenly snatched the baby from the midwife's arms and began pacing back and forth across the room, repeatedly saying that she needed to bathe the baby. The doctor arrived shortly afterward. The moment he opened the door, Pamela reacted as if she had been startled, clutching the baby tightly while backing away. Seeing her condition, the doctor immediately gave her a sedative. After a thorough examination, he reached a deeply concerning diagnosis. Pamela was suffering from postpartum psychosis, along with severe postpartum depression. At that moment, the nun suddenly remembered something. Ever since giving birth, Pamela had been acting more and more strangely. At first, she had been immersed in the joy of becoming a mother, but before long, she gradually sank into depression and anxiety. And just after giving birth, she insisted on starting to clean the house. She was worried that germs everywhere in the room could make the baby sick. Despite everyone repeatedly trying to persuade her, nothing worked. To further assess her condition, several psychiatric experts were needed to evaluate Pamela. However, her husband George strongly opposed the idea.
It's rare, but it may be a hormonal fluctuation caused by Rosa's birth. I am arranging a psychiatric assessment.
A head doctor? No. She ain't going to no head doctor.
Then he will visit her today. And if she shows any further signs of anxiety, you must telephone us.
The doctor's firm attitude finally made George realize that Pamela's condition might be far more serious than he had imagined. He returned to the room and tried to persuade Pamela to cooperate with the doctors for treatment.
You need to help me. I don't want any more people coming in here.
They're checking you and the baby.
They want to take her.
Stop this.
Seeing that Pamela was still dazed and unresponsive, George decided to go out to buy some of her favorite food in hopes of easing her anxiety. An hour later, George returned home, but the moment he opened the door, the house was empty. Pamela and the newborn baby were gone. Panicked, George immediately called the midwife, and the three desperately tried to recall Pamela's unusual behavior over the past few days. She had kept insisting that the baby needed a bath. At that thought, everyone's heart sank. She might have gone to the river. They immediately ran toward the riverbank, and indeed, Pamela was standing on the bridge, holding the baby tightly in her arms, muttering over and over that she was going to wash the baby in the river. Her husband instinctively rushed forward, but the midwife quickly grabbed him. Pamela was far too fragile to handle any sudden stimulation. If anyone approached her recklessly, she might jump into the river with the baby. The midwife signaled everyone to stay calm. She slowly stepped closer, gently trying to soothe Pamela. By then, Pamela had completely lost touch with reality. She couldn't hear a word anyone was saying. All she could see was the baby in her arms. But the baby, only 3 days old, was already crying from the cold. Hearing the baby's cries, the midwife immediately seized the opportunity. She began persuading Pamela by focusing on the baby's safety.
I can't. I have to wash her. It's the germs.
Not the river. In a warm bath. We can do that. We can take her home. Would you like that? To go home? To be safe? For Rose to be safe?
Pamela nodded gently and slowly placed the baby into the midwife's arms. Even though she had lost her ability to think clearly, her mother's love was still guiding her. In the final moment, it led her to make the right choice. After they returned home, the doctor urged George to send Pamela to a psychiatric hospital as soon as possible. If they delayed any longer, her condition would only continue to worsen. Looking at the young baby in his arms, George remained silent for a long time before finally nodding in agreement. And so Pamela was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. In the days that followed, George had to be both father and mother to the baby. Whenever the baby cried, he fumbled to prepare formula and change diapers, spending night after night without proper sleep. Meanwhile, in the cold hospital ward, Pamela could do nothing but hold a pillow and cry quietly. Terrifying and chaotic thoughts kept surging through her mind. To bring Pamela's postpartum depression under control as quickly as possible, the hospital began electroconvulsive therapy, ECT. The entire treatment was extremely painful. The midwife took the initiative to speak with her husband, George. She hoped he would visit Pamela often because the support of her family was crucial to her recovery. But George replied,
It ain't no place for decent people.
They're ill, Mr. Saint. They should be extended the same understanding that we have for physical illnesses. Your visit will speed her recovery. You didn't lose your daughter. You must not lose your wife.
George said nothing more and quietly returned home. On the way back, memories kept flashing through his mind. He remembered how gentle Pamela had been during her pregnancy and the patient smile she wore while caring for their baby. Then he looked at what she had become, desperate, depressed, and overwhelmed by pain. The stark contrast broke George's heart. He couldn't help blaming himself. If only after Pamela gave birth, he had cared for her a little more and stayed by her side a little more. Would she have avoided postpartum depression? Would none of this have happened? Meanwhile, Pamela continued undergoing treatment. Her body had not yet recovered from childbirth. She lay weakly on the treatment bed, looking especially helpless. Fortunately, as the treatment progressed, she stayed lucid for longer and longer. She even began knitting tiny clothes and little hats for her baby. One day, the midwife came to visit. Pamela eagerly asked her to take the tiny clothes she had knitted herself to her baby, but the midwife gently shook her head. She told Pamela that the best gift would be for her to give them to her child herself after she was discharged from the hospital. Hearing those words, Pamela finally showed the brightest smile she had worn in many days. With her husband's understanding and support, and with the hope of seeing her child again, Pamela finally overcame the illness and made a full recovery, leaving the hospital at last.